Park in Lower Manhattan. This is put on by a group of historical associations and organized by the Lower Manhattan Historical Society. And we have the support today of the Mary Washington Colonial Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, the First New York Continental Chapter, Sons of the American Revolution, the Knickerbocker Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, and the New York branch, National Society, Sons and Daughters of the Pilgrims. So thank you all for coming. This could be a very solemn ceremony celebrating veterans who have died and are buried here in Lower Manhattan. And there are a number of them. Alexander Hamilton, of course, Horatio Gates, Marinus Willett. They're all in the graveyard of Trinity Church. General Montgomery is at St. Paul's Chapel. George Washington has his statue here on Wall Street. But as this was the first ceremony today for the Revolutionary War veterans, I thought I would mention another first. And that is Captain Michael Cressup. Mr. Cressup was a militiaman from Western Maryland. And he was captain in the militia, and during the Lexington and Concord alarm in 1775, like soldiers from the militias of other states, he marched to Concord and Lexington in Massachusetts with his band of riflemen from Maryland in order to aid in the Patriot cause. Captain Cressup fought at Lexington and Concord, and then on his way back to Maryland, took ill here in New York City, and he died here in New York. And he is buried in Trinity Church also. But he is the first American of the Revolutionary War to die and to be buried there. My first statement today will be from the president and founder, Jim Kaplan, and he tells us, today marks another milestone in the history of the Lower Manhattan Historical Society, an organization formed less than 1 year ago to promote the history of Lower Manhattan and the history of New York City. This Friday, before Memorial Day weekend, through the efforts of several of our founding members, we are for the first time in the city's history recognizing here at Bowling Green, where the American nation began, the little-known Revolutionary War heroes who are buried here in Lower Manhattan. While there are too many such heroes to name all of them individually, among the heroes who we know are here or believe are buried here are General Horatio Gates, commanding general at the critical Battle of Saratoga, General Alexander McDougal, leader of the New York Sons of Liberty, Marinus Willett, hero of the Battle of Fort Stanwich, and Hercules Mulligan, an Irishman who served as one of General Washington's most important intelligence agents behind the lines here in New York City, and General Richard Montgomery, leader of the American troops who attacked Quebec during the Revolution. The Lower Manhattan Historical Society, with this ceremony today, continues its mission of educating New Yorkers who live and work in Lower Manhattan and throughout the city and the state about the important individuals and events that occurred here in Lower Manhattan. Next, I would like to call up Ann Farley, who is the governor of the New York branch, New York Society Sons and Daughters of the Pilgrims, to give her statement.
My honor as governor of the New York branch of the Sons and Daughters of the Pilgrims to participate in this solemn service honoring members of the armed forces who gave up their lives for our country and our freedom. There is no way for us to repay their sacrifices except by living into the principles on which our country was established: freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, and by carrying out our duty to our country, to love it, to support its Constitution, would like to thank you and the Lower Manhattan Historical Society for organizing this ceremony today, and I would like to present you with this certificate of appreciation from the New York branch of the Sons and Daughters.
Next up is the president of the Sons of the Revolution in the state of New York, Ambrose Richardson. That's the organization that runs the Francis Tavern Museum, where the Sons of Liberty had many of their meetings.
2/3 of the soldiers, American soldiers who died in the war, died in New York in the prisons and the prison ships. You had about an 80% chance of dying if you were in a British prison. There are three people that one should remember as great heroes of the Revolution. One is Hercules Mulligan, who most people haven't heard of, but whom William Casey thought should be in a statue rather than made hailed, because Hercules Mulligan was an effective spy. He actually got it done. He was one of the original Sons of Liberty, starting in 1765. He recruited Alexander Hamilton to the cause. He was one of the people who tore down the statue of King George after the Declaration of Independence was leaked. 7 years of the British occupation was tailored to the British officers and fed intelligence to Washington, and as the story goes, saved him from being had. Two other people to mention is John Barry, who's from Wexford. He's the father of the American Navy. John Paul Jones gets all the press, and he was notorious at the time, but the guy who actually served a much greater role, had more victories, was John Barry. And the third guy is Gustavus Cunning, who's known as the Pirate of Dunkirk, and he just terrorized the British around the British Isles, and he was the one guy. These are three heroes that everybody ought to know about.
So thank you all for coming, and we're going to raise the 13-star American flag.